Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maddie's Community Conversations. We are so glad you can be here with us today. I'm one of your hosts, Sheila Kukan, and I'm really excited to welcome back my January co-host, Miguel Ruelas. Miguel is an industry leader with over 15 years of experience in animal welfare and social justice, having worked at national organizations including the ASPCA and CARE. Today, Miguel is the Community Resources Manager at Pasadena Humane and is also one of the founders and directors of Patitas y Palabras Translation Services and serves on the board of directors for Heart LA. Miguel's experience in animal welfare is grounded in a human-centered, equity-driven, and community-focused approach. Please join me in welcoming back Miguel.
Thanks, Sheila. Thank you for having me back, and apologies for the heart attack 10 seconds before everything started. Happy New Year. If I didn't get to say Happy New Year last meeting to you. So to kick off this meeting, the question of the day is what practices or rituals help you settle into the new year? Please feel free to put that in the chat. I was telling Sheila earlier, like for me, it's just getting through January. January always feels like it's 3 years long. And then we get into the year, like January just goes on forever. So ask me again in February how the new year is going.
I love that
Ha-
Amber said the planner. I have all my planners right here. I'm obsessed.
Wait, but how long do you use them for?
This year, I'll use them every day. In the past, I
I
can't say.
believe in you. I believe in you. A lot of home organizing coming through. Yep, I tried that this past weekend.
Ooh,
I'm in
great.
the chaos before the organization for sure.
I love that. No phone until 11 a.m.
All right. Donating a bunch of old stuff I don't need. Yes, I tried to get my kid to do that. Also failed a little bit. Some deep cleaning. Ooh, birthday month. Irene, I know. It's like December and January birthdays are rough, but happy early birthday, or if already passed, happy late birthday. Oops. Sorry. Sorry, I don't know if my alarms are going off
You're all
or
good.
if
I
you can
love
hear them.
Veronica respecting the boundaries I set for myself. So important. Thank you all. Please keep these great responses going in the chat. Let's share some ideas of practices and rituals to kick off the new year. And as you're doing that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Amber, to announce today's or the December grant giveaway winners.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me and Dolly to announce the winners. She says hi. And we are very excited for our New Year's tradition of having a social media cleanse. So, like a dry January, but for social media. So, if you're missing me online, I'll see you in February. But without further ado, let me share my screen and we will announce some December winners, which is another great way to start the new year. All right, can y'all see that? Cool. Okay, so we have four community conversations winners of $2,500. And that is Amanda from Vanderburgh Humane Society in Evansville, Indiana. Shelley from Langley Animal Protection Society in Langley, British Columbia, so going international. April King from Coder Kitties in Seattle, Washington. And Peggy in All for One Pet Rescue and Adoptions in Toms River, New Jersey. So, congratulations to the Community Conversations winners. But there's more. We have our Maddie's Pet Forum December monthly giveaway of $3,000. And that is going to Brian from Spay Neuter Save Network in Rome, Pennsylvania. And one more, last but certainly not least, Maddie's Pet Forum quarterly giveaway of $1,000. And that is going to Paula from a home of their own animal rescue in Silver Spring, Maryland. So, congratulations. to all our winners. Yay! And Irene is going to drop the links in the chat so you can register to win on demand or watching live. And thank you all again. Winners, please say hi in the chat and let us know how you're going to use the funds. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Amber, and congratulations to all the winners. Definitely a great way to kick off the call. And for anyone who might have some national updates, please go ahead and drop those in the chat now as well. We'll be sure to share them on Maddie's pet form, and you can share them there as well. Otherwise, I'll hand it to you, Miguel.
Perfect. Thank you. So I will go ahead and introduce today's speaker. Today we're joined by Michael Clark, the Director of Capacity Building at the Nonprofit Plug. Michael Clark is sorry, I just said that. Where he's the Director of Capacity Building at the Nonprofit Plug, where he works closely with nonprofit leaders to strengthen fundraising strategy, donor engagement, and organizational sustainability. With more than a decade of experience supporting nonprofits, startups, and mission-driven organizations, Michael specializes in helping teams clearly articulate their impact and translate that story into funding. Michael has advised and supported organizations across a wide range of sectors, including animal welfare, housing, healthcare, education, and workforce development. His work focuses on practical relationship-based fundraising, helping organizations move beyond transactional asks to build trust with donors, foundations, and community stakeholders. Today, Michael will share insights on how animal welfare organizations can position their work more effectively, engage donors with confidence, and build sustainable funding strategies that support both people and pets. Please join me in welcoming Michael.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for even the opportunity to be here today. Again, my name is Michael Clark. Super excited to talk to this group. Such a heart for animals myself, with my two Frenchies and a Doberman that keep my house always exciting. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. And a couple things. I do want today to be as interactive as possible. If I cover something or bring something up and you're like, wait, how does that apply to me? Or you have a question, please put it in the chat. I'm going to make sure that I get to everyone's question. And again, I want this to be interactive. At the very end, I may even be doing some role play if needed. Such an important topic. We know that many organizations rise and fall on finances. That's the obvious one, right? The second part of it is many organizations rely on grants. I love donor acquisition and donors because many times that's unrestricted funds that can really take your organization to the next level. So, a quick question in the chat. How many of you are actively engaging donors? And I want to make a clear separation here. There are donations that come in, but when I say donors, usually I like to say it from a standpoint of individuals where you're having conversations of 1,000 and up, where we're having those larger donor conversations from organizations. So give me a one in the chat if that's you, that you are actively engaging donors. Excellent, excellent. Okay, good, 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 good. Excellent. All right. Excellent. So see a lot of ones. Excellent, excellent. And next thing I'd like to know is give me a two if you're at the point you're like, hey, we'd love to engage higher dollar donors, but we just kind of don't know how, don't know the strategy, and would love to engage more. So give me a two if that's you. Say, we'd love to engage more. Okay, excellent, excellent. All right. All right, so I will tell you for the ones that are here, my hope is that I'll show you some strategies to expand that donor reach and really strengthen those relationships. For the twos, I will say it will be a launch pad that after you leave this conversation, I know that there'll be some things that I'll put out there that'll really inspire you to go to the next level. Now, the reason that this is called money mindset, and I'm gonna share my screen right now, is because the biggest challenge that I've seen in donors and with donor acquisition organizations is not the right PowerPoint slide. It is not what to say in the meeting. It is mindset. It is the mindset that we bring over into those donor conversations. So I will tell you, I have worked with organizations where we've raised upwards of $20 million. The framework I'm going to show you, the tips that I'm going to give you are in that space where you can have high value, high dollar conversations. That's not, but uncompromisingly so. This is not where you're going to be in there, this pushy salesperson pounding on the table, demanding a check. No, not at all. I'm going to show you how to have relationship, how to build that relationship. And ultimately, you want to position your nonprofit, your organization as an attractive place to make a donation. All right, so let's get started. So again, this is money mindsets for animal organizations. And I work with a wide array of organizations, and this will apply to animal organizations and beyond. There's some focus in there, especially when we do the role play just on animal organizations, but you'll see that you'll be able to use this day in and day out. It's what I'm going to show you today. You can use 12 months a year. It's not just holidays or anything like that. It's not dependent on where you are in the country. It's not dependent on your budget. It's for you to apply this. I just need you to have a nonprofit and a need. All right, so let's get started. So here, I want to just tackle it right away. The real problem. It's called fundraising discomfort. Okay, it may sound like a medical ailment, but I call it fundraising discomfort. This is a fundraising discomfort comes from shrinking the ask. Okay, and what does that look like? Here's some common thoughts that I hear from leaders. One, well, you know what? I really don't want to bother people. Or I don't want to seem too pushy. The thought is to get donors, you got to be pushy. Again, pounding the table, 85 emails. I will tell you, it doesn't take all that. Or I don't want to ask for too much. I hear a lot of this. Well, no one is really giving in this economy. Or, well, I don't know anyone with deep pockets. All of these things hold leaders like yourselves back from going out there and boldly asking for the dollars you need to transform your organization. So we need to shift that because the truth is, you're not bothering anyone. There are individuals out there. The only reason they haven't given to your organization is because they don't know who you are and you haven't asked them. I'll repeat that one more time. There are individuals out there that they haven't given to you only because they don't know who you are and you haven't asked them. And you're not taking something from I said you're not taking something from donors, and meaning oh, I feel like I'm taking. No, they want to partner with you. You are truly giving them the opportunity to give and serve your community. So there are individuals that may never volunteer at your shelter. They may never hold that cat or dog or speak with that family but they will send their dollars and you're giving them that opportunity. And another thing I always hear, well, it feels like begging. You're not begging for donations. Many times we feel like there's this feel of, well, I gotta do it myself and do it alone. You do not have to do it alone. There are partners out there that want to financially get behind you. And I will tell you, there are donors everywhere. All right, so here's a core mindset shift. Giving is a privilege. You are giving them the opportunity and privilege to serve your organization and to serve your community. So here's some reframing. We get away from I'm asking for money. We're getting away from, well, I hope they'll help to I'm offering an opportunity to give. I'm inviting them into meaningful partnership. And partnership is a key word that you're going to hear a lot today. We want partners. We're inviting them to partner with us in our vision. And one of the things that I didn't put on the slide is that I hopefully will stop saying, well, anything you can do anything you can give will be great. Do we really want anything? Think about that. Anything? Now, granted, a dollar donation, $5, $100, but when we're in these donor conversations, we want to really clarify the need so we don't fall into the bucket of, well, just anything. And I'll show you how to do that today. Our organizations be our organizations exist because people want to give to work that matters. When you created your organization, there was a problem. You are that solution. And now we're just giving individuals and other organizations the opportunity to bring that vision to pass. So, the 7 reasons that donors don't give, let's get this out of the way. These are the things this is what stops the check writing. This is what stops the donations, the ACH, the credit card, whatever, however they pay. These 7 things will stop it. When donors don't fully understand the mission or what you're asking for, sometimes we really do take it for granted. Well, that's our name. Well, they should know. Nope. When they don't fully understand, when it's not crystal clear what you do, who you serve, the transformation you bring, people are very apprehensive to give, especially larger amounts. Next is lack of relationship. The relationship just hasn't been cultivated or stewarded properly. I've seen many individuals say, I'll say, how did the donor meeting go? Like, it didn't go well. I said, well, tell me about it. Well, I met them at an event on Saturday. We met, we then had a lunch meeting on Tuesday. I asked them for $50,000 and they said no. And it's like, whoa, we kind of rush things here. If we meet individuals and there are relationships that we have that need to be cultivated. So maybe initially it's just you meet a potential donor at a Saturday event and you set up time with them to meet on Tuesday. You just let them know who you are, what you do. You tell them about the organization. And then maybe after a couple of newsletters, you invite them out to events. There's a cultivation, a dating process, shall I say, that happens when it comes to donors. We don't want to rush it. Next, no emotional connection. The mission doesn't resonate. I call it the so what factor, but we have to answer that so what. Now, here's a big one. Many people look for donors that have the same exact passion that you do. Meaning, well, you know what? My organization, we rescue cats in the greater metro area, and we're looking for donors that absolutely love cats. Well, sometimes that's not the case. I may be a dog person and love your mission. So we have to make sure that one, we push for an emotional connection, but also sometimes we just have to fill the so what factor, meaning, well, what do you do? Well, last year we were able to rescue 4,000 cats from the greater metro area. And instead of them unfortunately being euthanized, which we never want to see happen, we were able to match them with homes in 4 different states. Oh, you've answered the so what. Next is simply the donors were not asked. The assumptions, as it says here, can lead to missed opportunities. So you make assumptions like, oh, well, you know what? I know that business just opened. I don't want to ask them. Or I know they're going through this. Oh, you know what? They probably don't want to give. Oh, I call that spending other people's money. Even when you're preparing for a donor conversation, assuming that they're only going to give a certain amount is not a good thing. One of the things, and I'll give you this quick tip, is that when you're in a donor meeting, we always want to let them know what the greater need is. Even if they've already established, you know what, they're going to give $5,000. Wonderful. But let them know the greater need that you're raising $250,000 for the next year. What does that do? Couple of things. Almost like a startup. Investors want to know what's the greater need. They want to understand that you have this larger plan. Also, it gives them the opportunity where if they want to refer you to one of their partners to fulfill the rest of the need, they have the opportunity. So don't spend other people's money by assuming what they can give, what they won't give, how much they'll give. I coach all of my nonprofits to go into meetings with a range. So it may look something like this, like, hey, Miguel, first of all, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to share about the organization. Um, if do you have any questions? No? Well, I will tell you, we are looking to raise $250,000. And Miguel, we have individuals just like yourself, just like your organization. They give anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 annually. Within that range, is there a comfortable fit for where you guys are? So again, just a little role play, but example. I'm not going to assume he's only going to give 1,000, only going to give 5,000. We have to give people options. Next is lack of follow-up. This is a big one. I had a client literally lose out on $250,000 from a donor because they slowed down on the follow-up. Inconsistency kills interest and trust. They were about 6 follow-ups into the process and stopped because a couple of things happened with their mindset. They thought, well, you know what? We haven't heard back. They probably don't want to give. They probably lost interest. Well, you know what? They probably gave the funding to someone else. We literally heard back from that donor that they were just simply busy. There were several individuals in that department that were on vacations and maternity leaves, and all these things were going on. So you have to follow up. And follow up is not pushy. It is not pushy to simply say, hey, just wanted to check in if there's any question. And often we treat sometimes, and this is like deeper mindset, how we handle things personally, we bring that into the nonprofit. So we're like saying to ourselves, well, I don't like when people are too pushy and follow up too much and get all these phone calls. Think about it this way. An organization is about to give you $50,000. If you follow up, email, do everything you said you were going to do and promise, what does that look like to them? Doesn't look like pushy. It looks like you're efficient. It looks professional. It looks accountable. Okay? So make sure you're following up. Next, donors, when they don't feel like there's a partnership, they also, and it feels transactional, they feel like they're just participating and they have to feel like they're part of a process. If it feels too transactional, like, hey, how you doing? Yep, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a check. That will also turn donors off. And that last is you didn't ask clearly. I have literally been in meetings, none of my clients, brag a little bit, but I've seen individuals ask for money, present the opportunity to give, and never actually ask. Never give them the opportunity to say yes or no or move forward. Hints are not invitations. Simply saying, well, we're looking to raise $250,000 and just waiting there. I get it. That's a hint, but you actually have to ask and ask in a clear way. All right, so these are the 7 reasons donors don't give. Let's transition and take it to where they do give. So confidence comes from authority. Oftentimes we feel like, well, we're a nonprofit, or I hear we're just a nonprofit. No, let's get rid of that. You are an organization that has been tasked with providing for and caring for animals that can't ask for themselves. Your clarity in your messaging, your clarity to be able to ask in a meeting gives donors confidence to give to you. When you come into the meeting and it's like, yeah, oh, things in the economy and we have over and you don't walk in that confidence, a donor is like, wow, am I giving just to keep the lights on or am I giving to really build your organization and to have impact? And you have to believe in the value of your work. And when you do, donors feel it. It's contagious. And again, you don't beg for impact, you steward it. So this is a big one. When we are in meetings, oftentimes we think of a successful meeting as we left with a check, we left with a donation, a financial donation. One of the ways we're going to take the pressure off of these meetings is knowing that there's four outcomes of a donor meeting. And please screenshot this, write it down. When you watch this again, repeat these. Absolutely key. Every donor conversation offers a path to partnership. Everyone. So there's four valid outcomes. The first one, the one we all know, financial support. These are donations, pledges, or reoccurring gifts. Next is going to be in-kind donations of services. These could be supplies, food, veterinary care, professional services, space. Maybe an individual is going to speak at a board or a podcast, guest host. They offer you access to a warehouse. They say they'll sit on a panel, do a pop-up veterinary care clinic. Next, referrals. Maybe they offer to introduce you to other donors or partners. And then finally, advocacy and ongoing support, where they're just sharing your mission, attending your events, and championing your work. Now, the reason these four are so important, they work together in tandem. They're in a meeting 90% of the time, the same person that will write you a check, a financial donation, will refer you to other partners, but we have to ask. And I also would encourage you that even before you go into meetings, one, pick a number of where you would like the individual to give, or you kind of see as an outcome. And you might be saying, but Mike, how do I know? The reason is we want to go in there with some number. We don't want to go in there with the thought of, well, anything they do, because then that's too random. Then we don't want to also go in there, well, you know what, 500, but is 500 what you really want to get out of the meeting? What I'm going to encourage everyone here to do is that I want you to think of the largest gift you've ever received from a donor. And this year, double it. Okay? This year, we're going to double it. And the way we're going to do that is one, by asking more, putting ourselves in a position where we're talking to more donors. And then two, going into those meetings with a mindset of, I'm going to walk out of this meeting with 10,000. And studies have shown, very much like a visualization that a sports player will do, going in there with that positive intention, with a solid number, helps your confidence. Because I will tell you, everyone that's watching this, if you founded your organization, you're the CEO, you're an executive, you are a leader in your community, in your space, you have authority. And when you go into these meetings, there should be a little bit of swag, a little bit of bravado, a little bit of confidence. And I will tell you, donors love to see that. Sometimes it's a thought of, no, what helps people give is really sad stories and they need to know desperation. I've never seen that be the case. Yes, they may give you that parachute and say, hey, here's how you keep the lights on. But many donors want to give to organizations that are thriving. And I'll talk about being in panic too. If you ever find yourself, or if there's someone on here right now and say, wait a minute, Mike, we actually are trying to keep the lights on. I'll show you how to approach that also. Okay. But as we see here, financial support, in-kind, referrals, advocacy, and support. So before each meeting, we're literally thinking of what is going to be my ask, meaning everyone here should have an overall number that they're looking to raise over the next year or 2 years. Okay. Next, in terms of in-kind donations or services, before going into that meeting, do research on your donor to find out what they have access to. What, in terms of referrals, what networks they're a part of. And then what would advocacy and support look like from that individual? The reason this shifts the mindset is that we're not just kind of dropping into a meeting where it's going to be this interrogation of our organization. We're asking them. One of the things that you'll do in your next donor meeting, before you even introduce who you are and what you do, I encourage you to simply find out from the donor what they're interested in. And it could sound something like this. Well, Miguel, I want to thank you so much for making time and space for me today. I know we're together for about 30 minutes, and I have a couple of slides that I'll share. But before we even get started, I'd love to hear about what you're already involved in philanthropically, organizations you've donated to, and what really moves the needle for you. If you ask that question before you start, you will separate yourself from 90% of the organizations that that person has ever spoken to. Most organizations are going in, well, thank you so much for giving me the time today. So, our organization, and this is what we do, and this is what our need is, and we really need this, and we really need this, and we really. So, how do we change the pattern there? We find out what the donor's interests are. It's called donor, it's becoming more donor centric. All right, so if you haven't already, please take a picture of the slide. Oh, if you haven't already, please take a picture of the slide. All right. So I put together a sample partnership script that you may be able to use. Again, make it your own, but here are just some sound bites of what this could sound like. So again, we always want to make that connection and build a relationship. Well, Miguel, I appreciate you taking the time to connect. I know we'll be together for about 30 minutes. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, we want to ask that question about what they're interested in and find out things that they've given to. But the next part is context. Bring them into your context. Instead of just talking about your mission and vision and programs, let them know what's going on immediately. Well, right now in Hartford, we are seeing an increase in animals coming into our care. Just last month, we had 300 cats come in, and we're a bit overwhelmed. And I will tell you, we don't want our level of care to change. So, and this is where I now articulate the need, we want to really continue to provide the level of care these animals deserve. And we're inviting partners just like yourself to step in financially. More conversational. It's not desperation. And finally, it would be now we give them the opportunity. And again, you want to make this your own. I'm going to leave it up so you can screenshot it. This is something you should practice. Practice with your team, with your board. Well, this is an opportunity to give either financially, through in-kind support or advocacy. And I'd love to share how you can be a part of it. And if they say, sure, I'd love to hear more. On the financial piece, remember the two things we want to let them know the overall raise, what we're looking to do, and then give them a range, give them the opportunity. You say, well, we have organizations just like yourself, or we're looking for organizations that would give anywhere from 5,000 to 25,000. And some of you, when you heard that, you're like, but Mike, what if they want to give less? It's no problem. They will literally say, well, we can't do five. They say, well, no worries. We have individuals that give other amounts. What would be more comfortable for your organization? They'll say, we'll give 1,000. Great. 1,000 is more than just anything would help. 1,000 is more than if we had just come into the room with the mindset of, well, we'd love to do, say, 500 or $200. Okay, this is very conversational, and our goal again is to give them create the connection, set the context, articulate the need without desperation, okay, and give them the opportunity to give. And what's really important when you are talking to a donor is the ability to pause. I have that on the screen, but I'll say it here, is the ability to at times shut up. Because too often When we're articulating a give or a need, we start talking and rambling and going on and on and on and on and on. Being able to just simply allow a donor to respond, to ask questions, can be priceless. So how do we articulate urgency without guilt? And now urgency is about responsibility, it's not pressure. So healthy urgency, this opportunity now matters now because we have over 300 cats, but we have the capacity for only 250. So we're about 50 over, and we've brought in other organizations to partner. Or it can sound something like, well, in the next 30 to 60 days, it will determine our capacity to be able to move forward. That's healthy urgency. Now, we want to avoid any guilt-based language. Well, if you don't give right now, I don't even know if can continue. We never want to put individuals in a position of guilt. We don't want to panic or desperation. And definitely don't apologize for asking, well, I'm so sorry to be even asking. We don't want this. We don't want to bring that into a meeting. And as I mentioned earlier, you guys are executives, CEOs, founders of organizations. You're respected for your leadership. You have a big vision for your organization and for the area and communities you serve. In the meeting, we need the CEO, the founder. Again, when your boots on the ground, I know it can become emotional. I do a lot of talks on compassion fatigue. I know it can be wear you down, but to go into these meetings, we got to kind of let some of that go and come into those meetings with clarity, with our conviction, and to be able to connect. So, how do we respond? There's a couple of things that come up, and how do we respond to it? I know I got about 3 minutes left. If someone says, I can't give financially right now, that's why we have those other three options, right? Well, I understand there are other meaningful ways of support. Can I share those? Well, I need to think about it. Well, of course, I appreciate your thoughtful consideration. And that's where we also may want to ask, well, what are some of your biggest concerns? What are some of the things that you're weighing? Is there anything that I didn't ask or you'd like to see? Send me more information. You'll hear that. Absolutely. I'll send the details that outline how partners support this work. And this is a big one. Well, I need to take this to my team. The best thing you can say to that is, wonderful. What questions do you think the team might have that I can answer for you today? Or I need to take this to my team. Excellent. Well, would it be helpful if I was at the next meeting? I need to take it to my team. Do you mind if I just create a recording of what we talked about and about our organization, and then you can share it with your team? The reason we want to do that is because, the old game of telephone, no one can talk about your organization like you. So take your time and really walk through those objections or concerns and respond with confidence. All right. So follow up is key. You want to leave the meeting with absolute clarity. Don't end the conversation with unanswered questions or doubt. Confirm understanding before you close and define clear next step. Who is doing what? What's the decision? What's the follow-up? What's the timeline? Send a thank you note, a thank you email within 18 hours. Thank them for the conversation, regardless of the outcome. I can't stress that enough. Even if you don't think the meeting didn't go well, meeting went well, or if they say they can't give, no worries. Just simply, you still want to be as gracious and thank them for their time. Be prepared to follow up 4 more times. Most partnerships are finalized after multiple touch points. It's just a process. And don't take delay or silence personally. Silence usually means that there's just some timing. It's not disinterest. Remember to follow up. Following up is diligence, not pressure. You're stewarding the opportunity, not pushing a decision. Many times, organizations know that there's multiple meetings or multiple follow-up that's necessary. Thank them again, no matter what the outcome. You want to have just that gratitude. It's going to preserve your relationship and open up for future partnerships. So as we close, we're going to transition to questions. I'm at 29 minutes. Wonderful. Giving is a privilege. Clarity creates confidence. Partnership removes the pressure. And if you don't ask, you deny people the opportunity to give. All right, I'm going to pass the ball back. I'm open for questions. I think I ended with 11 seconds to spare.
Excellent timing, Michael. Thank you so much. I don't know if you're able to see the chat, but you're getting a lot of love for the wonderfully direct and tangible recommendations that you're giving folks. So thank you so much for that. And I'll go ahead and jump straight into some of the questions that we've gathered here. So the first one is, looks like many of us get most support from individual donors. I'd like to know how these tips apply to regular individual donor giving, like $50 in one donation, how to build relationships with them.
Oh, how do they apply to? Well, a couple of things. Whether it's 50 or 50,000, they still want the connection. They still want to build relationships. But I will tell you, I have gotten my clients also have gotten very large donations. So you have someone that gives you 50, but then they introduce you to the owner of the steakhouse. They introduce you to a business. They introduce you to another individual, and that 50 becomes 250, becomes 2,500. And so continually looking for partners because again, and no disrespect at all to someone who gives 50, those are vital backbone. I love that. And they can, again, give you referrals to amazing additional donors, other $50 or even higher. So everything here applies.
Thank you. The next one is, do donors want to know what percentage of the yearly impact their donation covers? Is it helpful or hurtful to say things like $1,000 will cover 1% of our yearly expenses?
Um, well, I call that ROD, return on donation. Yes, donors want to know when they give a certain amount of money, what is the outcome? I found that to be the case. So knowing that $1,000 is going to save 400 dogs versus how much of my donation, what percentage of it, I find that that can be a little technical and doesn't translate well, but to simply say, hey, $50,000 or even say $50, your $50 donation allows us to be able to feed one of our dogs for a week. Like literally that 1-to-1 ratio. Percentages just again useful if they ask, but what I always want to give you those pointers that kind of give you the edge. And the edge is they be able to say this donation will bring this transformation or outcome.
Thank
Does that?
you. I don't know if the person who asked that, so now if there's
Oh,
any
yeah, yeah,
follow-up
no
on that
worries.
or
No worries. Yeah.
okay. Um, the next one is, we have tried several donor engagement campaigns. Very few people, donor or not, answer the phone anymore. We end up leaving voicemails and texting. How effective is that? How can we get more actual human conversations?
Well, a couple things. Foundationally, join the Chamber of Commerce in your city or county. Chamber of Commerce will give you access to businesses. You'll be invited to events, networking events. Many chambers also have special resources for nonprofits. Your community should absolutely know who you are and the amazingness that you do. So chambers gives you networking, networking brings you to businesses, businesses bring you business owners, which bring you to donors, alumni networks. Also, some of your donors that are giving you the $50, they may have matching at their employer. Okay. Also, too, shameless plug. If you'd like me to come back and talk about how to find donors, I can also do that. I know I don't want to get too in the weeds, but how do you find them? Um, Chamber of Commerce foundational to individuals that already give within your network. People that have given you money before are great resources to find other partners.
I love that. And it reminds me of something that our speaker from last week said, which was like lean on your community, right? Like
Yeah,
always lean on your community.
yeah.
Let's see. We have
Oh,
an
can I
go
say
ahead.
one last thing? There are entities that you have given thousands of dollars to. That steakhouse that you celebrate birthdays at, the car wash, the nail salon, you have given them thousands of dollars. They should know about your nonprofit and give them the opportunity to give. Notice I didn't say ask them. Give them the opportunity to serve your community. Okay. All right. Sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you. Um, and then there's also, is there a specific time of year that is best for asking for donations?
Holidays, because of the percentage wise, you've got Giving Tuesday and December. 26% of giving is done in December. But because there's no deadline on donors, you can do it 12 months a year. 12 months a year, you're going to have an opportunity to have meetings. I push all my clients to have at least one conversation a week with someone. Now, notice I didn't just say donors, but you want to have a conversation with someone who can give you a referral, be supporter, advocacy, and you may also be saying like, "Hey, when do I have time to do this?" These are like 30-minute meetings at best. I'm not saying take somebody out to dinner, splurge, hours and hours of conversation. Remember we talked about Chamber of Commerce? I would begin to go to join chambers, network, set up these 15 or 30-minute conversations with businesses and network. Oh, and it could be done again all year round. Best time is holidays.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for this discussion, and thank you to the audience for joining us today. Michael will be available on Maddie's Pet Forum throughout the week to continue the discussion. So if there's any questions that come up later in the week, please feel free to post them in there. And then our question that we'll leave you with. And I know, sorry, Sheila, am I getting ahead of myself here a little bit? No, I'm good. Okay. How clearly can you explain your organization's impact? And would a donor understand it within the first 30 seconds?
I love that question.
A great question, folks. Definitely join us on the forum and let us know if you have some answers. And Michael, thank you so much for this really important conversation. I love just the mindset shift of donations as an opportunity to give. I think that really changes my comfort level with it. So I appreciate you sharing that so much with us today. And yes, would love to have you back. And thank you so much, Miguel, for coming back as co-host. Looking forward to hosting with you again. Everyone, we are not going to have a meeting next week. But we will have one the following week with Tyann Sumter from Charleston Animal Society on the business behind life saving. And of course, if you have any topics you'd like to hear about, or if you have any questions for Michael, please go ahead and join us on Maddie's Pet Forum and communicate with us and connect there. Thanks so much, everyone.